AI is everywhere in marketing right now, and depending on who you ask, it's either revolutionizing everything or completely overrated. In this episode, we're sharing our honest thoughts on where AI is helping, where it's falling short, and how marketers can realistically use it without losing the human touch.
All right, so we are back with another episode and we are talking AI again. It continues to be a topic. We brought it up in our Super Bowl review. There were some AI generated ads or AI augmented ads that we really kind of hated. So weren't real happy with that. I've also been playing with AI for a friend of mine. He's got a small business. He's not really a client, but um, he just needs to take his product and like put it in other settings or make videos and those kinds of things. And there's a bunch of tools out there for it. Just kind of trying that. It's been really hit and miss. Like there's a couple tools we were like, these suck. And a couple that are like, okay, like this is pretty good as long as you prompt. So AI is everywhere, right, Zach? We're talking about it. It was all over inbound last year. Um, People use it in different ways. Some are streamlining things. Some are using it just for research and things. And then I think where it gets a little bit stickier is some people are using it to go from blank sheet to finished creative.
Which we've talked about before. That's never the way to go. Obviously, you can use it as a starting point or for outlining, but if it's a finished product, then you're probably lacking. It's probably lacking and not going to perform well anyway.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to have issues, right? Because it does still hallucinate. Had an instance where even HubSpot's AI assistant that's contained inside HubSpot did a little hallucination on how to do something. Like the steps it told you to do don't actually work. Like they're not even in there. So even a self-contained AI can have issues. So
Mhm.
we're going to talk about what it's doing well, what we can do with it, where it's kind of overhyped, and hopefully help you find the right balance between like automation and your authenticity.
But before we do that, we're going to discuss today's cocktail, which is an Italian cookie. So, this was a really interesting one that I found on liquor.com. And it made me think of you, Rich, just because you went to Italy and you talk about Italy all the time.
Uh-huh.
So, this is a rum based drink from New Orleans cocktail bar Three Muses. It's an ode to the sprinkle-covered treats found in cookie tins and grandmother's homes everywhere. This is best served as a nightcap. It's sweet, creamy, definitely a dessert cocktail, or a fun birthday shot with colorful sprinkles on the surface. So this is a pretty fun one. Um, I could definitely see myself loving this.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So what's interesting about this is it seems like a pretty sweet drink, but desserts in Italy tend to be less sweet. Like in Europe in general, they just use less sugar than we do. Um and so that's one of the things with these. Like a lot of times it's like almonds or anise or ricotta or citrus. Like it's these non like sugar forward flavors that they put in these to really bring them forward. So curious about this one. It looks interesting. Um, yeah, so you start with spiced rum. So they recommend 1.5 ounces of Black Magic spiced rum. I use Cruzon spiced rum. Cruzon has one called Blackstrap, which is same
Ooh.
idea here. Your Black Magic, your Blackstrap. When that word black is in there, it almost pushes it more toward a molassesy kind of area, which is what you want for this. And I actually think I do have some Blackstrap back there. 1 ounce of heavy whipping cream, 1/2 ounce of herb saint liqueur, a third of an ounce of creme de noyaux, Noyaux, a third of an ounce of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of fig preserves, and 1 teaspoon sprinkles. Okay, so maybe that lemon juice cuts it a little bit and it's not as sweet as you think it is. Um, so spiced rum, whipping cream, herb saint, creme de noyaux, excuse me. Lemon juice and fig preserves go into a blender with ice. So we are doing a cold drink, really great for this unseasonably warm weather we're having. Not that I'm complaining. I'm totally fine with 70 degrees in February in Nebraska. Perfectly good. So then that's it. Like that's what you do. You've got this basically blended cookie drink. You put it in a highball glass, garnish it with Italian sprinkles, stick a straw in there. You can get it, do an umbrella if you want to. I don't care. But the sprinkles are really kind of a fun one, or as they call them in Australia, hundreds and thousands. So yeah, your little typical colored sprinkles are called hundreds and thousands, and it's because there are hundreds and thousands of them. All right, so that's it. That is a really interesting one. Great dessert drink. Also might be really good as sort of a pool like lounging kind of thing, I think. Wouldn't want to have too many because there's a lot of cream in there, but I like this one, Zach. It seems interesting.
Yeah, definitely a fun one.
Yeah, I think I have everything but the creme de noyau. I needed that for something else, and I don't think I ever went and bought it. Um, but I have the other ones though.
You have to give it a try.
All right,
Should we get into AI?
let's talk AI. All right, we are back. And I think the pressing question when it comes to AI and marketing is it making things better or is it making it just faster?
I
And I
think.
actually,
Oh, go
so
ahead.
I'm going to throw you a twist, Zach. I read an article this morning, just this morning, that said AI is actually making employees work more, not less. It's not shortening how much they work or speeding it up. It's actually adding to their workload. So that's something we can dig into another time.
Oh, wow.
But
Is it
but
because
yeah,
you like have to learn how to use it correctly, or is it just like
I think
you're?
it's the old adage of like if you're ever in a big organization, I mean, it doesn't happen as much at smaller places, and we're pretty good being careful about this, but uh, in larger organizations, if you get your work done faster, they just give you more work. Like you're paid to
Oh,
be there from like 8 to 5. And so if you can fulfill everything you were supposed to do that day by 2 p.m., they're just going to find more stuff for you to do. Which is why, and if you don't say anything, that's why it gets really boring because you're just kind of like stretching out work, something that should take an hour, you'll take 3 hours on just because. And so I think that's part of it. Like, I didn't really get into the whole article, but some of it is that as we become more efficient, capitalism and corporate America expect us to continue to work and put in our hours.
mm,
They don't expect to pay you for 4 hours for what they used to pay for 8 hours for, even though they're getting the same output. And that's kind of I don't know. It's a weird thing because if you were doing manufacturing, right? Like you could get paid by widget, and if you could make more widgets faster, you would get paid more, or you could make the same number of widgets and leave early. So yeah. But I think the big question: better or just faster? Um,
I think it depends on how you're using it, right? Because there if people are just using it as a finished product like you said earlier in the episode in the intro, then it's faster but not better. But if you're using it to improve what you're doing your full process that you'd usually do, like writing a blog, and then you're using AI, how can I improve this? Or AI is a starting point, then I think it's better. With the Super Bowl commercials that we talked about last week, I think
mhm.
a lot there's some ads that maybe you could say, okay, this is maybe a little better, but most of them were not better, and they were definitely faster to produce probably
Yeah.
and
I mean,
cheaper.
we've been de-aging people in movies and TV for years, decades, like definitely decades, definitely before AI. Um, it's something that has existed. It's just harder without AI. It takes longer. It takes more computing power. Well, may not take more computing power. Who knows? AI sucks a lot of power and water, but um, it's one of those things where yeah, they de-aged all those people in the T-Mobile ad or the Dunkin' ad faster than they would have using traditional, computer generated graphics or augmentation. So yeah, but did it come out really well? Not really. It was kind of weird. Kind of came off funky. Same thing like animating that Svedka ad traditionally
Oh my
or doing
gosh.
stop motion in it or whatever however you did it would have taken, months versus, feeding everything into AI and cranking it out. So it is definitely faster. I think in those instances, the quality wasn't there.
No.
Um,
I
I mean, I
mean,
think the production quality on the Svedka one was fine, right? Like they looked like the Svedka robots that they've used before and like
yeah.
that kind of thing.
And for all what it's worth, we are talking about it like 2 weeks in a row. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was memorable. So
Yep.
maybe that's what they're going for then.
Yeah. I was also just saw a thing that Aldi rips off brands all the time, which we know, like they've got their Oreo knockoffs are in a blue package with white and black writing, and they just say originals instead of Oreos because our brains like associate those together. But part of what they were saying is sometimes Aldi gets sued. Like a lot of times brands will just be like, whatever, like you're skirting the line, but you're far enough outside it. We really don't care. You're Aldi, you're smaller. It's not a big deal. But brands will sue Aldi, and Aldi loves it because they get millions of dollars in free publicity over the lawsuit for people who wouldn't know that they have an Oreo knockoff that's really, really close, or their Dorito knockoffs that use almost the exact same color of bag in a slightly different font. So you're right. We're talking about it. So it must not have been too bad. So that's a whole nother episode
That's a
is,
whole other angle of it.
can bad ads be good for you? Kind of like if a movie gets so bad, like Showgirls, it's so awful that it becomes this cult classic that's so amazing. Like you flip over from bad to good just because you've gone so far on the bad side.
Yeah.
So
That's a good question.
yeah, I think you're right. You're dead on. So if you are using it, so if you're going to take 5 hours to write a blog post, let's just say, I don't know, and you would normally spend 2 hours doing your research, but you can shorten that research to 30 minutes by using AI to go gather stuff for you and pull things for you. And you spend the rest of that time making a much better quality blog post, and even using things like Grammarly, right? Grammarly uses AI to help you like rewrite or adjust, and it learns your style, it learns your voice. It warned me that my voice is becoming more formal like the other day in my emails, and I'm like, yeah, probably because I'm like feeling it. So those are areas where I think it works. Now it could also speed it up. So, I mean, maybe you still spend the same amount of time on your writing process or whatever. You just, do it in 3.5 hours instead of 5 hours. And now you can do 2 blogs in one day instead of 1 blog or whatever. I think that's fine. I don't have any issues with AI as research agent or starting your outline, that kind of thing.
Beating writer's block and giving you like an idea of what you could write, stuff
Mhm.
like that.
And then it comes down to prompting, right? Like you have to tell it like, you're a writer working on this and you've got writer's block. What are some ways to take this story to this point, and you can paste whatever it is and move it forward, like to try to get some inspiration. But in that instance, I also think that there's this idea where I want like 3 or 4 ideas from it. I don't want like, give me everything I've done with AI has always been give me options. Give me options, ideate on this, look at this, figure this out. Um, and so that I think is helpful and is better than like write the next paragraph for me. That's not going to help you with your writer's block. It's just going to make it worse.
Yeah, because then you're gonna see what it writes and be like, well, I don't think I can write better than this, or like it's like it just kind of like makes it like so you have a narrow outlook of what you could write to,
Mhm.
because it's not giving you options, it's giving you what it thinks is the best paragraph for like next paragraph,
Yep. And
which can lock you into thinking that is the best paragraph.
Yep, and I would say that if you feel like, well, I can't write anything better than this when looking at what AI has written, stop writing. You shouldn't be writing anything.
Yeah.
Um, the human brain has better adaptability to context and situational awareness and things like that. And also just personal history that, you have to give AI personal history. You have to give it all that. And you can feed it all kinds of things. Um, but I think you're right. Like get me over the hump. Don't make me dumber by doing it for me.
Hmm.
Just get me past the block and then let me keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. And that kind of covers in where our next point that we wanted to cover, right? Where AI should stop and humans should take over. We kind of talked about how when you're writing a blog, or when you're like writing a blog, don't use it to write the whole blog, but use it to maybe outline or give you ideas of what you could write for the blog, or maybe even like helping with keyword selection for like a topic that you really think could be good, but you're
Mhm.
not sure exactly what keywords would work well. And then, I mean, if you're me, you can take the keywords it gives you and actually like put them in the SE ranking and see if they're actual valuable keywords that have actual search volume and keyword difficulty. Because sometimes it helps to start with a list of keywords that
Mhm.
might work for a topic rather than
Yep.
just starting from scratch. So things like that, I think, as soon as you start writing the blog, adding your own human touch and your own voice are extremely important. So not dodging that and not letting AI take over that part. of your content creation is a big one.
Yeah, there's a big debate that I've seen among people, specifically with writing blogs. Like writing is one of the things AI is better at. It's not so great at images yet. It's getting better at images and video. And within 2 years, they're saying like it'll be like you won't even know. Um, but should AI write your first draft, or should you use AI to refine your final draft? Like, which end does it belong on? Like, I think the research piece is easy. That's dead on. Like, that's great. Um, but I do know people who are like, "Oh, I have AI write my first draft for me," and it's like, they've already locked. Now you're locked into a direction from that.
Hmm.
And I was on the like, "Oh, that's okay," but now I'm more in the like, I've got my final draft and I'm using like a Grammarly AI to clean it up, or I'm using AI to search for like threads that are non sequiturs, like something that trails off and never gets resolved, that type of thing. Like having it look for mistakes, almost proofreading, but not really proofreading,
Hmm.
but just getting that kind of final refinement on it. Um, Makes more
I
sense to me because then it's still your idea. It's just cleaned up
Yeah.
by a computer.
Even if your first draft is terrible, like you're really struggling to write something, putting it through Grammarly and like getting all the grammar fixed is really good. But like what you said, you can also just take suggestions from AI. Like, how would you improve this? Or what is this lacking? And like, is anything like, are any of my ideas bad in this like blog? And that's kind of what I've
Mhm.
done too. Because I don't want it to completely take over what I've written. Because it's like, hey, like I wrote it this way for a reason. I don't want you to like change it. But I like sometimes like getting like that second opinion because you don't
Yeah.
always have time to like have someone read through it, right? So having it analyze what you're writing and like suggesting changes can be sometimes good. And especially if you like do the research part after it, like can I add anything, any research or data points that would strengthen it? And like what are some things I should look into for that? That's
Yep.
also something that like I've looked at. So I would say like for writing, yeah, like iterating on the final draft is good.
Yeah, and I think, when you get into other things, like where I think AI would be useful, and I haven't seen it yet, is things like ADA accessibility for websites. Having an AI that you can say, I want this to be, double A accessible per, the current, disability guidelines, and having it scan the site and let you know in more human terms, like this is what I should do. Because right now there are automated tools that will scan the site and just flag issues for you, like contrast isn't right, or you're missing an alt tag or that kind of thing. But I think that, they're always like, this is what's happening. There's not a here's how to correct it or anything like that. And I think that's where AI and that back and forth could actually be helpful. Um, or to even have it say, show me what this web page would look like as a triple A, ADA accessible site, which is generally like pretty much black and white, like high contrast. So that you can, demonstrate those things and show them to people without having to go through a whole bunch of work to make that happen.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and I think that like there's other things that like I just wish AI could do and it should do, and it just doesn't when it comes to content and things like that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's still lacking in a lot of areas. And I think
mhm.
some people get so caught up in, oh my gosh, it's saving me so much time, like that they kind of lose touch with like their skills and abilities, right?
Yep,
So if you're not actually taking the time to do what you need to do with the work, then you're gonna lose some of that edge that you have.
yep,
Let
yeah,
AI
and
enhance the edge and sharpen the edge. Don't let it take it away from you and dull it.
yep, 100%. And I did so I did a thing where I generated a video from an image. So it's like, and you see these ads all the time on Facebook, especially if you're in marketing, but it's basically a model wearing some clothes. And the brand name is very prominent on the clothes. And it's a still photo. And all it does is it turns it into like a 5-second video where they move and smile. The second the model started moving, the brand became completely unreadable and unrecognizable. It looked like alien type. And part of me is like, the brand is right there. And in that tool, you're able to upload your logo also. Um, and it couldn't take the brand that was actually physically on the photo I gave it and the logo that I had behind, in the back end, and actually just in 5 seconds, like it was literally the second the model moved, it was like, can't read it anymore. And it's like, come on, like, People are like,
Yeah.
oh, I can use AI to make, ads. And it's like, good luck, because it's
My
not
question
great.
is though, when it does get to the point where it's really good, like where does that kind of leave things? Do you know what I mean? Because our next and final point is AI leveling the playing field and making marketing more competitive? Um, One of the things that we have here is, does AI help smaller teams compete with larger companies? If AI is to ever get to a point where it's borderline like you can't tell on a video ad and
Hmm.
the writing is like top notch, uh, then I think like in that sense, you probably could, as a small team, compete with a larger company that's putting out these crazy big ads. But I don't know,
Potentially.
unless the
I
AI
think,
tools are super expensive, like
yeah, I mean, and right now they're not. Like the one that I was using, you get 1,000 credits for $30 a month, and it's, what was it? Generating an image is like 10 credits, and generating a video is 140 credits. So you can do like, and you can iterate on the video. And sometimes it fails too. Like it would just fail and say, I can't do this. And then they don't charge you the credits. So I think the thing for me is, versus smaller teams competing with larger companies, I think that's still harder because you're still going to have a volume thing. There's still like, especially if you're talking about agencies, right? Like you're still going to have to manage those clients and deal with that. I think what it does help, and we've run into this a lot of times, is people will come to us and be like, oh, I need like 10 social media videos. And we're like, great, that'll be like $1,500. And they're like, oh, I have like $80. And you're like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. You're going to have to do those yourself. You have an iPhone, go for it. Here's a couple websites. I think what it does is helps those folks
yeah.
be able to do kind of their own thing. Like your one person startup, food ingredient or spice blend company, whatever. Your what was your hot sauce again? The
Oh my gosh, what was it? It was something Goblin.
yeah,
How
that
can I not
was,
remember?
I don't know. Like, how can you not
Sauce
remember?
Goblin.
Sauce
Sauce
Goblin.
Goblin.
Yeah. So like that would be an interesting case study, because we've got some graphics for that Megan did for us and things like, and all these tools that say you can just show, like you can just upload a picture of a bottle. Well, we can put that label on a bottle and upload that picture, and we'll give you a video ad with somebody holding and talking about your product. It's like, that'd be an interesting test. Like, how would it do? But I mean, if you were a one-man shop rolling out this, sauce that was fulfilled by a third party, and you could use AI legitimately to create good looking marketing for you, that's a game changer for a small business to get off the ground. It's not going to help you with like determine your brand or define your brand or your voice or any of that. You're going to have to give a lot of input, which I think people don't realize. There's still all of that has to go into it. And the more you put in, the more you get out. So that whole back to AI prompting is a big, big tool, and is prompting AI to create something the same as learning Photoshop on how to create something, you know?
I mean,
That's
that's
controversial.
it is controversial, but we don't know how complex it is going to be to get like the best like desired results from AI. So learning how to
Mhm.
correctly prompt now could benefit like us and other teams in the future. But
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. It's a big question mark, right? Like currently the state of AI in digital marketing is kind of so-so. There's some things it's good at, but it's not really causing like any big ripples. Nobody's like, I mean, teams are spending like I mean, it's causing big ripples because everyone's using it, but
Yeah.
it's not really creating like a better final product, I guess is what I'm trying
Yeah,
to
and it's
say.
more ripples, less splashes. So
Yeah.
like, you had a couple of attempted splashes with the Super Bowl, and they were a little bit more belly flop.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that, but that's how like it improves, right? Like as people try it, they learn from it, they see what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and they move forward with it. I think the big thing is going to be like there's usage rights. So if I shoot if I do a photo shoot with a model and I don't own a clothing brand or whatever, or even go back to your sauce goblin, you do a photo shoot and you shoot a couple of people just like holding the bottle and smiling. Do you have the right to upload that to AI and then animate that into a 15-second ad where they're saying things about it and it's
Yeah.
their face, but it's not their voice and they're not really
It's a big
endorsing
question
you?
mark.
Huge, huge issue. And that's where Hollywood has had a lot of issues. And so in contracts, I'm trying to think of who it was. Um, there was an actress who's been in some Marvel stuff. Oh, she was in Two Broke Girls. I can't remember her name, but the dark-haired one, but she said like she is not in the upcoming Marvel movie, whatever it's called. I don't remember what it's called. And she said, I can say that because if I was in it, I couldn't tell you anything about it, but I can't tell you anything about it because I'm not in it. And she said, but my contract had a clause where they can digitally recreate me if they want to. And there's compensation associated with that now in Hollywood, that if they digitally recreate somebody, you get paid for that as well. And so she's like, I could be in the movie and I just don't know I'm in the movie. Who knows?
Wow.
Um, and so those are the types of things I think that you have to work through as well, that rights. And I mean, even independent of the ethics, it's like the legal piece of it, right? Like, do you have the right to do this with my likeness, my body, my voice? And then do we need to disclose it? Like, do they need to disclose at the end that like this actress wasn't actually here? We used a digital recreation of her. However, she was compensated for her time. Does that have to be in the credits somewhere?
Well, and how long is it until like, I mean, how many years do you think it's going to be until there's just completely AI movies or something like that? Like, that's kind of
Oh, I'm
scary
sure
too.
somebody's made one already. I
I
mean,
think, but like big budget Hollywood,
yep,
like actually puts out a movie using completely AI, no actors, actresses, like
yep,
that makes me kind of shudder, like thinking
could be.
about.
I mean, and think about animation, like, is that where it's going to go first? So animators are kind of out. Um, like, could Disney upload the entirety of the Pixar catalog in that style and make, like, could they upload all the Toy Story movies and have AI create Toy Story 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Like, you just give it a prompt on a concept of an idea and it just pulls it together. I don't know. Like, that would be, I'm sure there's some executive somewhere who's like, oh, this would make us so much money because I wouldn't have to pay anybody. I would just have a computer do it. Until the AI becomes sentient and then comes after you for,
Yeah, I've read too many stories about stuff
slave
like that.
labor, basically. Um, there was one other thing that was in there. Oh, so when it comes to disclosure, I do know that like YouTube has now started with all campaigns that you upload. Anytime you use text, images, videos, you have to check a box that says whether AI was or was not used in the creation of any of these assets, which I think is interesting. Now, and I think YouTube has that as well when you upload a video, if I remember right.
I think it
Um,
tells you like if there's AI generated content in it, like a larger video. There's so many like mobile game ads and sports betting ads that are served to me that are just straight AI. Like it doesn't even
well,
make
yeah.
sense with mobile games because you're not even. I mean, mobile game ads are already kind of sketchy in
Well, yeah, because
general.
it's not actually the game.
It's
Like
never
when
actually
you
the
look at
game.
it, there's the one that has, it's got the shooters and they're going back and forth on the bridge and like you can
Yep.
get more people shooting and all that. And that's not the game at all. Like I actually downloaded it because I'm like, this looks like fun. And I'm like, this isn't the game at all. Like it sucks. And then there's this
Hmm.
PvP element to it. And I'm like, I don't want a PvP game. I want a mindless, I can sit and turn off
Yeah.
my brain for a 30-minute game. So some guy actually created the game from the ad.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I
so that
saw that.
exists as a game, which I'm like, genius. But like, yeah, mobile games, like get somebody who knows how to play it and do a screen recording. Like, come on. Like, not hard at all. And I see that on Steam a lot, right? So Steam I know you use Steam for games as well, but a lot of a lot of the games now, there's a live play like video
Oh
where it's
yeah,
either
where it's like someone
recorded and sometimes
streaming.
it's like a live stream from somebody on Twitch who's doing it, but it's a recording of somebody actually playing the game. And I do that I found a City Skyline YouTube rabbit hole where they're like, here's the best way to make an industry area. Here's the best way to make a whatever. And those are all just real people like actually doing it. Now they speed it up as they're doing it and they narrate over top of it. So they basically do it and then go back and speed it up and narrate as they go, which is how you make a video. Like that's how you make a video. So I think in those instances, those also just come off as more authentic and genuine than if they tried to use AI to do it. Um, I don't know. This
It's
is
it.
going to be a big one.
That was an interesting discussion rabbit hole we just went down with this
Mhm.
like disclosure and where AI is going. And I think that's a good episode and a good place to leave it off, right?
Yeah, I think that feels pretty good. It looks like it's at about the right time, so you won't have to like cut too much or do any major editing. So that's good. All right. So, AI, like we're kind of mixed on it. Like we do think it has a place, generally not in the final product. As we've been talking about, I think disclosure is a good thing. And I think people should you should understand how somebody's using it, especially if you're hiring an agency, you should understand how they are and are not using AI, because it could impact your brand. It could impact the legality of some of the things you're putting out there. And then, TBD on how it helps in the future. I think that for a solopreneur, can be a really good tool. And the more it improves those images and videos and things like that, the better it'll be. Um, but I don't think, I mean, we're just not at a place, and I don't know if we'll ever get to a place where it can just end-to-end marketing and replace having humans in the process. Um, Maybe I'm naive. I don't know, but yeah.
I hope that I'm not alive or something by the time it completely replaces like a lot of like
Yeah,
the big
same.
major
I mean,
stuff.
and this is a hot topic, so give us feedback. Zach's going to tell you how, but we definitely would love to hear from people on what they're thinking. Like, is anybody using it end to end and having great success with it? Like,
True.
that'd be great to hear. Like, we'd love an opinion different than ours. So, how do they do
Yeah.
that, Zach?
As always, you can find our agency at antidote71.com, and all of our socials are there as well. If you have a question you'd like to send our way, or if you'd like to respond to Rich's question, head to ctapodcast.live to shoot us an email, or even better, leave us a voice message on our hotline at 402-718-9971. Your question will make it into a future episode of the podcast.
Absolutely. So we will see you next week with something else.
Something else and something new.